Hey, what's up guys? Jeff Fenster here, and if you're new to the show, I want to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified on all things The Jeff Fenster Show. The link will be in the show notes below. Now, back to the show. Welcome back to The Jeff Fenster Show for another segment of Lessons Learned, where we're going to recap the top 8 takeaways from Dan Fleyshman on separating yourself from the competition. Number 1, the best free thing you can give is relationships. If I cultivate these relationships, if I create these environments to attract these incredible humans to the same thing, A, the butterfly effect, but B, I'm going to start to become friends with them. I'm going to start to be able to do business with them. Was there some catalyst that happened?
The very first elevator night was above my retail store in downtown San Diego next to Petco Park. My goal was 40 people. I invited 40 people. 165 showed up. But here's the kicker. The people were asking me a favor. Hey, can I bring this football player? Hey, can I bring these 3 supermodels? Hey, can I bring the guy that owns all the buildings and high rises in downtown? Hey, this guy owns Starkist Tuna. He's a billionaire. Can I bring him? I've never thrown, this is my first elevator night, and it's upstairs of a freaking jewelry store, right? I had to like break the wall down basically to like make it so that 165 people could fit in there. And the people that they relayed and asked favors for is, can I bring this superstar? Can I bring this business person? Hey, this lady owns XYZ. Like, they were asking me a favor if they could bring them over to my event. That's going to be a 3-hour event upstairs of a clothing store or jewelry store.
And that's so important because the ability to cultivate relationships and create these environments where deals can happen and people can meet makes you synonymous with all of those relationships.
Exactly.
I mean, we've been friends. You're an investor. You own Everbulls. You're someone I've looked up to for years. I can't count anymore how many incredible humans you've introduced me to that I have now gone off and other things have happened from that true butterfly effect. But you are the common denominator. And I think that's true for so many of our friends. And that just makes that many more people look at you as this magnet, this individual that we want Dan around because Dan does so good for so many people. And so if you're listening to this and you're trying to figure out how can you replicate that, do exactly what he's saying.
Group chats.
Group chats. Set up these, he calls them elevator nights, but set up these events, these meetings of like-minded individuals where together good things can happen. And don't always worry about what's in it for you first. That also had to take something because, as you said, Dan, 11 years ago, you were more focused on how do I monetize and create commerce from this as you needed to. Yes, obviously you've made millions of dollars since then, so it becomes less important. But if you were spawned off into a new city and you had to start over, sometimes it does feel icky to say, hey, I want a piece of this deal. It feels much more transactional.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Let it feel icky. At least the icky will pay your bills.
Okay.
When you're making these introductions, if it's like, hey, luxury car dealer, I just met these 3 guys and one of them's looking for a Maserati. Can you help him buy a Maserati? He's like, yeah, of course I can. If he buys a Maserati for 150 grand, can I have $1,500 or 3 grand or 4 grand? Of course they'll give it to me.
True.
When I'm introducing them for commerce, there's nothing wrong with it because I'm literally introducing them for commerce. They're going to do business together and there's going to be financial transaction on both sides. And I'm not asking for something egregious. I'm not like, hey, can you give me 50 grand? Like, I'm asking for 3 to 10% depending on whatever the type of deal is. That can add up to a lot. And you can do it in different categories and niches too. And so oftentimes, like if someone says, hey, can I bring business to your social media agency? Sure, I'll pay you 10%. Can I bring you a mastermind member? Sure, I'll pay you 10%. You're bringing me commerce. You're bringing someone to spend 25K or 100K or 50K. Why wouldn't I happily give you $2,500, 5 grand, 10 grand in commission?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I just think that there's an icky factor to your point that prevents people from doing it.
Yes.
Let it feel icky.
Let it feel icky. It'll pay your rent.
And it's amazing when you have that extra cash, now you want to do it more.
It's addicting. For sure, it's addicting.
Yes. Number 2, into the mind of an investor. How do you determine which ones you're going to get involved with? Because I can't, I get deal flow sent my way and I don't do elevator nights. I can't imagine how many opportunities are thrown at you with people pitching you, asking you to get involved.
Yeah.
It's almost a full-time job to decipher. What are your criteria that Dan Fleyshman gets involved or doesn't?
Okay. So I get sent between 200 and 400 decks or requests to invest every single month. And every time my initial response is, sure, send me a business plan. Right away, 200 to 400 goes down to like 0 to 20. Okay. When they send me the business plan, I can now narrow it down. Great. Send me the financials, the investor documents, and I'll look at it. Now it's down to like 0 to 5. Okay, so I've already narrowed down the 2 to 400 to like 0 to 5. Next thing, do I like the person that's running it, right? That's why I use you as, when I talk about at speeches, I bring you up all the time as my favorite investment of all time and my favorite founder. I have to like the person. I want to be able to like go to dinner with them, go to lunch with them. I have to trust them that at 2 a.m. something happens at a convention, they're going to show up to fix the booth. They're not going to wait till the next morning. Like I have to trust them, right? Like I trust Jeff Fenster is going to show up at 2 a.m, ready to go, right? Ready, let's go. So the first thing is the founder. Okay, so once I've narrowed down to the deals, the founder. Second is, does anybody care? Like, is this a business that people care about? You can tell people care because they vote with their wallets. So does this business already have 200K in sales or 500K in sales or $1 million in sales? Well, people care. If it has $0 in sales, I have to gamble and hope and wonder that people are actually going to spend money on this thing. The next thing is, the third thing is really like, how big can this thing get? And I don't need it to be a grand slam. I like base hits. I like normal things. I like some investments that are small returns. Some are medium returns. Some are big returns. Some are my shot at glory, right? And so I just need to understand it so I can make a decision, because I'm not going to put $1 million into one that's like a shot at glory, because that's a big gamble. I'll put 50K or 25K or 100K. But one that's like super safe and like I know is going to work for the most part, or it's almost guaranteed, I'll put 200K or 500K or $1 million, because it's pretty safe, but it's not going to be a grand slam. And so once I find the founder and I make sure I like them, now I like the company and make sure that people care. People are going to pay for it. Is the market there? The last thing is like, do I want to be in this thing for the next 3 to 7 years? Because there's not going to be a financial exit or public acquisition or public offering or merger or anything that's really going to happen for 3 to 7 years if it works out. So am I going to want to talk to that founder for years? Am I going to want to be involved in this business for years? And all those things, so now out of these hundreds and hundreds of pitches I get and business plans, I probably do 1 to 2 deals a month, if you really break it down. And so it's not like I'm out there just making it rain, investing all the time. I want to. I would love to do 12 deals this month. I physically can't if I don't have all these requirements.
And I'm assuming majority don't meet all those criteria.
Very few.
Which is a good model, but knowing that you have these opportunities, knowing that there's these businesses, sometimes do you take on a company pre-revenue, even though it hasn't shown with the wallet yet, because you believe in it, or you can use your sphere of influence to...
I will gamble personally. That is a gamble. I would not text Jeff. Jeff's never going to text, hey, I'm investing 200K in this business. Will you invest? Even though I know Jeff can handle it, Jeff's willing to gamble, etc., I don't want to risk my personal relationship with Jeff for him to gamble on this 200K with me. Now, that company goes on to do 500K, $1 million, $2 million in sales. I promise you I'm going to text Jeff like, hey, you should put some money into this thing, because now they've got, people care. People like this thing. So I will gamble on something that's a startup company. I don't do those as much anymore. I'm really looking for companies doing 2 to 20 million in sales, because I want to skip the first 2 years. I'm just really busy. I have a lot of things going on. And so I'm only going to do one that's like a pure startup or an idea in a rare situation. If it's like Jeff's got a 19-year-old that he loves and like there's something about it, like I have to do it like emotionally, I'll do it. But I'm not going to do a startup anymore for the most part, because I'm much more useful later. When you're doing 2 million, I can get you to 9 tomorrow, right? You're doing 12 million, I can get you to 50 fast. If you're doing 0 to 1 million is really hard. Really hard. 10 million to 25, not hard at all.
Hey everyone, just wanted to take a second to say how incredibly grateful we are for all of our listeners, and I want to hear from you. Your feedback is greatly appreciated, and it will only help us make this show better for you. So any questions you have, click the link in the show notes below and let us know. Now, back to the episode. Number 3, sales cures all. So if you're sitting here watching this and you're less than $1 million in revenue, what would you advise them? So if I came to you with a deal, you can't invest because, as you said, you're too busy, but you want to help me. What would be the 2, 3, 1, 5 things you would say, this is what you need to do to get this company, and then give me a call?
The most important one is a famous quote from Mark Cuban. Sales cures all. Go sell more. Like dedicate a few hours a day that you and your staff, volunteers, sales reps, commission-based, affiliates, anybody, sell every day, even if it's just for a couple hours. If you do that, and you do that every day, and you think about, you do that 300 or 400 times in a year for 1 to 3 hours a day, you spend 1,000 hours a year selling, you're going to sell lots, right? And if after the first month or two you're not selling, something's wrong.
Something's wrong with the business.
Yes. Change it. Make it higher, lower, more expensive, change the quality. Something has to be changed. You will learn so much from more sales. And if you have more sales, sales builds momentum. You get more sales, the press likes it, your staff likes it, your vendors like it, your affiliates like it, the retailers like it, your clients like it. Everybody likes it when you have more sales, so sell more. Like, please just sell more. Not enough companies, not enough entrepreneurs, not enough CEOs and founders spend X amount of hours per day just selling. Whether it's them or a sales rep or someone in the company, just sell more. If you sell more, you will build momentum and people want to invest. Investors like to invest in momentum. When a company's going like this. If I said, hey, Jeff, this company's doing this. They went from 2 million sales down to 1 million. Do you want to invest?
No, thanks.
Right? Even if you get like a sweetheart deal or like some big discount, not exciting. What's exciting? That's exciting. And so when a company is going up in sales, that is exciting. That's one of the first things you would say in a pitch. Like, hey, Dan, we just hit $1 million in sales. Last month we were at 600,000. Whoa, right? I'm in.
Yeah, what did you do?
I love it. Even though you're under my requirement of 2 million, I love it. You went from 600K to $1 million? That's huge. That's a 50 or 60% increase like that.
Number 4, people have to know their market.
People have to really know their market. It really turns me off mentally when someone says, well, this is a $19 billion market. And if we just capture 1% of the $19 billion, that's 190 million sales. Come on, man. Like,
yeah.
First of all, 19 billion, you're just making up a number. Second of all, nobody's capturing 1%. Third of all, what are you talking about? Like, it makes it sound, you've heard this happen on Shark Tank often when they're just like, come on, like, that isn't studying. What is studying is, hey, our competitor has 42 locations that does 500,000 each, which is $11 million or $20 million. Like, telling us the numbers of like the industry. Hey, our locations are more efficient. We have clothing stores. Our overhead's only this. Like, walking me through things that like show that you understand the market, like the details, is way better than just saying some like esoteric numbers that you read on Google.
Number 5, you have a personal brand, whether you like it or not. Help the audience who's sitting on the sideline right now without the personal brand, but have a company and have a reason.
Watch this, guys. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. You have a personal brand whether you like it or not. You have a decision to make. Let people rumors and gossip about you, or you tell your story. And so I break down why you need a personal brand. 1, if you don't think you need one, you're wrong. Let me just be really blunt about it. Because even if it's not for you, your kids might need you to help them with a charity thing. Your grandma might need you to help her with leukemia or Alzheimer's situation, or if it's like a fancy dinner to help raise money. Your uncle is like opening a new bar. Your friend from high school is launching a book. Someone else is throwing a little business conference. Someone else is doing like a cookies and baking meetup, and everyone's going to come to the local town. You having 4,000 followers or 20,000 followers is a big deal in your local community. You do not need hundreds of thousands. You don't need millions. You need people in your niche. And if you do that, whether it's for yourself or your family, friends, etc., it doesn't go away. We have this line at our agency: we can't undo famous. And so if you build a personal brand up and you get more famous within your niche or your community, that is powerful. It can help with charities, it can help with your friends, it can help with sales, it can help with everything in your world, and it cannot hurt unless you say something crazy or bad or dramatic or political or whatever. Outside of that, having a personal brand is very powerful and useful to you forever. Now, we live in an age of society where it's also free to do it. Obviously, you could spend money to make it grow faster, but you can do everything we talk about for free. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, Threads, free, 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 free. In your pocket right now, or whatever you're watching this podcast on.
Podcast, yeah.
You're either watching on an Android or an iPhone. Congratulations, you have one of the nicest cameras in the history of the world. You already paid for. So you have the nicest camera in your pocket. All the platforms are free, and you're already going to go do stuff with your phone in your pocket. Meaning, you're already a realtor. You're going to go do real estate. You're already a fitness trainer, a chef, a makeup artist, a hairstylist. Whatever it is that you do, pull your phone out. You already have it with you. And then take that phone and push send on some of these platforms with just basic content about your real life. What you think is boring looks like magic to us. And so you making content about the things that you do with the phone that's already in your pocket, with the platforms that are already free, you have no excuse not to build a personal brand.
Number 6, let consistency be your separator. So how would you advise the entrepreneur, small company, trying to grow, they're spending all this effort on personal brand? Because I think a lot of people are trying, and I think they're not doing a great job. Why aren't they doing a great job, and what are they doing wrong?
Okay, that's really easy. It's consistency. It's kind of like what you just said about, well, if everyone's doing it, why should I do it? There is 5.1 million podcasts. That's an actual number.
Wow.
Less than a few thousand have ever done more than a few dozen episodes. So out of 5.1 million, barely anybody's done 10, 20, 30 episodes. You just really think about that for a second. All of them have the opportunity to do it. It's not that expensive when you really think about it. Nobody has to do freaking 6-figure facilities like yours. They could do it from a phone. They can do it with one mic and a phone, really, and they could skip the mic if they had to. Anybody can do it. Consistency. The same thing when you talk about social media. If I go look at a business account, most of the time, one post 4 days ago, one post 2 weeks ago, one post a month ago, one post 2 months ago. There's no consistency. And so they're definitely not going to show up in people's feeds or algorithms because they're not there. There's no top of mind awareness. So the biggest thing that people individually and companies are missing out on is just posting once a day. Just being out there and posting once a day. By doing that, you'll keep that top of mind awareness. The algorithm will like you more. People will share your content and people will just think about you on a daily basis.
Number 7, don't carve out your clients. Well, I see companies do this, and I think it's such a mistake because
it's the worst. I hate it.
There's 100 people that have money. I want all 100 to want to come to one of my locations or whatever my business is. The second I start carving out a part of the population that doesn't like me for my views, my religious views, my political views, they're not going to spend money with me either.
Dear companies, this is a PSA. Stop, and I mean stop. Forever, ever, 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 no matter how smart you think you are, how cunning or creative, ever, ever, ever posting or making commercials or making a stance about political situations or things in the media. Budweiser lost $9 billion in a week. Target lost almost the same amount of money in a week. These are household name legacy companies that have been around for 100 years. 100 years. Or might go bankrupt.
I was in South Carolina, and this was right after the Budweiser Bud Light issue, and some of the people there were drinking Coors Light, and they were talking about how they don't even like the taste of it, but they won't drink Bud Light.
Yes.
And I said, why won't you drink Bud Light? Like, it didn't connect to me for a second.
Yeah.
And then they went on a 10-minute diatribe about what just happened. And they was like, well, if you don't like it, why don't you find something you do like? And they're like, yeah, and they drank it. So they literally were drinking beer they do not like.
Correct.
Because of a decision of a company, regardless of the merits of that decision. And so I think that I've observed that about you, and I think it's fascinating. Number 8, doing more of the same. Is this the natural evolution for you in your career? Because where's Dan Fleyshman going to be in 10 years?
I have no idea. It's just more of the same is what my plan is. My plan is not to start a bunch of other companies. I want to scale the ones that I have. Cards and Coffee, Everbowl, the agency is the only one I don't want to scale because I don't want clients. But all the other things, I just want to scale what I have, the masterminds, the live events. I'm not trying to go start a bunch of other companies. I want to scale what I have. 10 years is an eternity. I don't know where I'm going to be in 2 years.
Okay.
Because my goal is do more of the same. Last year and a half, I raised $44 million for consumer product companies and food and beverage brands through the Elevator Syndicate. Now, with this whole merger with Aspire Tour, I'm going to raise money every month. So if I raise $4 to $10 million a month, times that by 12, add it to the 44 million I already did, you're talking about 100 million, 200 million investments in that next couple of years. That's the teach you how to fish thing. Like, that's really compelling to me. And I just want to do that over and over. But if I do that for 10 years, you're talking about $1 billion or $2 billion of investments, $4 to $10 million at a time.
Yep.
Nothing crazy. And I'm not trying to change what I'm doing. I just want to do more of the same over and over and over and over and over and over for a long time.
Thank you for listening to another segment of Lessons Learned. I hope you learned as much as I did from our special guest, Dan Fleyshman. Hey everyone. First, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. And if you guys haven't heard about my new book, Relationship Bank Account, click the link in the show notes or search the title on Amazon. This book is packed with all my secrets to success in both relationships and life. Make sure to pick up a copy, and if the book helps you on your journey, let us know by leaving a review. I appreciate all of you and can't wait to see you on the next one.